when I interviewed both Bobby Rush and Honey Boy Edwards, Honey Boy Edwards,
just told me that.
yeah, just the year before he passed, or a couple years before, they had said that what they noticed was that when they started playing blues, it was for a predominantly African-American audience, and somewhere along the line that changed, and that they said that the black population in America stopped buying the blues, and he didn't know, Bobby didn't know why, Honey Boy didn't know why. Just all of a sudden, white guys got into the blues, absolutely. So did you notice a shift?
Well, let me get to that when I ask you this first. This is the funny part. Yeah, we were playing for 99.9 or 100% blacks, I would say. And all of a sudden, this late 50s, you would look out in the audience and there was a white face out there. And the only time you saw a white face in a blues club back then, he was a policeman. And I'd say, well, we got enough money to get the bottle of wine, which was 35, 40 cents. I said, don't pull up the wine because there's a cop out there sitting at the table. And it was Paul Butterfield.
Wow.
Yeah. Michael Bloomfield, you know, some of the other, and finally it was Eric Clapton and some of them said, and I'm like saying, there's a lot of white cops coming in now, man. They're trying to
Speaking of the British guys, what's the legacy of the Rolling Stones, do you think?
Forever and ever, because they let America know who we were. You know, a lot of Americans didn't know who we was until the Stones and all those British guys just came back and say, matter of fact, they were saying when they was getting famous, it's a British invasion. They would say, wait a minute, now this is Howlin' Wolf or T-Bone Walker or some of music like that, and that's when people have come to me personally and say, I didn't know who you was until the Stones showed up, and then I went back and found out who B.B. King and Robert Johnson, because Eric Clapton there was doing a lot of Robert Johnson and those people's music, and they were saying, this is not mine. Matter of fact, they went back down there, some of those guys were living, and gave them the royalties checks for the songs they had wrote.
It's pretty amazing, right?
It was. Because, you know, music comes in all languages, and a lot, and I hate the question, and I get to ask a lot, do you have to be black or came up through the cotton field to be a good blues player? No, just watch people today who's losing the best jobs they ever had, and used to didn't have to look back and worry about what we sang about. I lost my job in the steel mill 5 years ago and can't go back. Ain't no more steel mill. That's not only happening to blacks, that's happening to whites too, man. You know, those, I read somewhere lately why some airline pilot is a painter now because the airlines laid him off, you know. So this is what we sing about everyday life.
Everybody's got the blues, right?
Everybody got the blues. Whether you realize it or not, you got it.